Good morning, students. I hope all of you are fine and taking care of your good health. So students, today we are going to discuss our ninth chapter of your bio named Economic Importance of Bacteria and Fungi. So in this chapter basically we will discuss in detail about the structure of bacteria and fungi and what is their economic importance in different fields. Now let's begin the chapter. Now children, bacteria are the primitive organism that belong to kingdom Monera. Already we have discussed this about kingdom Monera features in the previous chapter of 5 kingdom. So again we are revising. From that we can find bacteria. They are unicellular. Prokaryotic means they are having only the means no prominent nucleus is present in them. They have no membrane bound cell organelles. They have no organized nucleus and just their DNA is fully scattered here without being enclosed in the nucleus membrane. And if we talk about the general study, first we talk about their size. You can see here. Now bacteria are the smallest living organisms on the earth and their average size about from 2 micrometer long to 0.5 micrometer thick. And if we talk about the smallest bacterium, the smallest bacteria is of the Mycoplasma gentium, that is having a flask shape with no cell wall, and the largest is of the Theomargarita namensis, that is a form of a coccus. Now this is a coccus form which is having a spherical structures. So next we are classifying the bacteria on the basis of the shape. Basically there are 4 shapes are being found. First is cocci, that is if we are talking about the singular we say cocci, if plural we say coccus. Cocci, that is a spherical bacteria. You can see here this shape. So like you must have listened to the name of Streptococcus. They are forming the chains. Means if they are present in the form of the pair like this, they are called as Diplococcus. If they are forming a long chain like structure, then they are known as Streptococci. And if they form a cluster like a group, this aggregate, then they are known as the Staphylococcus. And the second one is the bacilli, that is a rod shaped. You can see this, they are having the shape of the rod. Third is the spirillum, that is spiral or twisted in the form of spiral, or there is some twist is there. And the last is vibrio, that is a comma shaped, just like of the comma. And you can see here in this picture also, and you have to draw this diagram in your notebook. This question is coming in the exam to explain the bacteria on the basis of these different shapes along with their diagram. So now children, next we are going to discuss the structure of the bacterium. Now children, if we talk about the structure, see it contains a living substance that is known as the protoplasm, or we can also call as protoplasm, that is lying within the cell membrane. And it is surrounded by a non-living cell wall. That cell wall basically that is made up of peptidoglycan. That is peptidoglycan is what? A mixture of amino acids and sugar. And beneath that cell wall there is a cell membrane that is mainly made up of the proteins. And next they has a chromatin material in the center. So here lies the chromatin material in the center in the form of the circle and in the protoplasm. And basically they have a cell organelle ribosomes. And the DNA is present. See, you can see there is no well defined nucleus, but chromatin DNA material is present in the central region. And this chromatin material is in the form of single circle is there. You can see here they are present in the form of single circle and is not enclosed in any nuclear membrane. Means no nucleus is there, but it is attached with the cell membrane. The cytoplasm, they can see they can contain small vacuoles also are there, granules are there, and in very few cases some pigments will also be there. And sometimes in order to save them in unfavorable condition, they develop a protective covering that is known as a capsule. This just that is present outside the, you can see this black color, the cell wall. Now how do they do the movement? Most of the bacteria cannot move about themselves with their own effort. means they are passive. They are being be either transported by some agents, like that can be wind, water, or contact. But sometimes the bacteria may possess some whip-like flagella. You can see in this structure, this whip-like structures are there that are known as flagella, that can parts, then that can move out from the penetrate through the cell wall and the capsule. And this, whenever they do the lashing movement, that provide them active locomotion in the only but in the liquid environment. Next we are going to talking about the nutrition. As you're already knowing, bacteria does not have any chlorophyll, therefore they cannot prepare their own food, means they are having the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Under this they are categorized into two. Either they can be saprotropic, that is drawing the nutrition from the dead decaying organism, or they can be parasitic, that they are drawing the nutrition from some other living host. See, bacteria also secrete some powerful enzyme also from their cells into surrounding food materials, and these enzymes make the food materials soluble that can be absorbed by them. And if we talk about the respiration, they are having both modes only. If some bacteria respire in the presence of oxygen, so they will be having a aerobic mode of respiration, while some do anaerobic, means that some are respiring in the absence of the oxygen. But anaerobic bacteria, when they are exposed to the air, that time they will be killed. Next comes, how do they reproduce? See, the mode of reproduction in bacteria is asexual, that is mainly they do the by the means of fission. We are doing a binary fission, we have already done also. So either there can be a binary fission or cell division. That is, first of all, that circular DNA which is present, it duplicate means it form its one more copy, and slowly that cell will expand and duplicate copy, and they will be start moving towards the opposite side, they start separating, and then in the center the cytoplasm also divides, and then they will divide it into two individual new cells. So a highly primitive type of sexual reproduction has also found in very few bacteria and extremely very simple. Like if we talk about the two bacteria strains found of same species come together, and they specifically do by conjugation. That process is known as conjugation. And plasmid means plasmid, that is the DNA. The DNA of the donor may be transferred into the recipient who is taking through a hollow tube-like extension of the donor cells. And sometimes they form a special structures. That structures are known as the spores, in order to overcome the unfavorable conditions. So when unfavorable condition proceed, like such as drying up of the vegetation, they will draw their contents into spherical mass. Just that will become thick and hard protective wall, and that wall is known as the spores. So little round body of spore will be formed inside it. So within the regional, you can see this way the spore wall will be formed. And later on, when the favorable conditions will come, this spore shell will be broken out and they will be released. So what is the main function of this spore formation? Basically, they help to tolerate extreme dryness, or some cannot be killed even at the temperature of the boiling water also, or in the frozen ice. And even some can tolerate some poisonous chemicals also. Next is the what are the useful role of the bacteria in the medicine. Basically in the three form it is being used in the production of antibiotics, serums and vaccines. So in detail we will discuss this. First, what are antibiotics? So you must have, doctors are prescribing you antibiotics, take the antibiotic. What is antibiotic? It is actually a chemical substance that is being produced by living organism that can stop the growth of some disease producing bacteria or any microorganism into your body. Like you must have listened the name of streptomycin, chloromycin, tetracycline, penicillin. So children, penicillin was the first antibiotic that was discovered. How it was discovered? In 1929, Alexander Fleming discovered that some bacteria was growing in some culture, and that was accidentally destroyed by then contamination of a mold. A mold was placed near it, that was Penicillium notatum. And from there he discovered that mold is what? Fungi. That produced, this mold has produced certain substance that has completely stopped the growth of many bacteria. So, and finally they named it as penicillin, and this was the first this antibiotic made in the medical science. So mold is what? A fungus, and it acted on a bacterium. The next was made of streptomycin, which was discovered by cell Waxman in similar way, and its organism bacterium was Streptomyces granulis. So here list is given, just go through it. Now what is the criteria? This question come. What is the criteria for a good antibiotic? First of all, this antibiotic should not be that it should be only killing a virus or one thing only. It should be used for a variety of disease producing microorganism. It should not produce desirable side effects, and it should not kill the, you must be knowing some bacteria are beneficial for also our body, so it should not kill that bacteria which are in our the host cell. And what, for what purpose we are using antibiotics? We can use also them as food preservatives, for treating the animal feed, or for controlling the plant pathogens. Now next is serum. Now what is serum? Actually serum is your blood plasma from which fibrinogen fiber has been removed, and it may contain numerous chemical substances that may include antibodies also and some antitoxin substance which are released against the toxins. Toxins are the poisonous proteins that are released by some pathogens like bacteria during their growth or their breakdown after they die. So now this serum will be having some antitoxins of particular pathogens, and they are mainly used as a preventive measure against the bacterial invasion, means against the bacterial entry. And for preparing this serum, a small dose of any bacterial toxin is first of all introduced into the blood of a healthy animal. Just for example, it will be introduced into a horse or a cow. The body then produces toxins against that reaction to neutralize the effect of the toxins. And after several injections of same toxins, that blood of the animal is totally being filled with the antitoxins, and from there then on chilling, blood is being taken out, then we are chilling it. After chilling means we are cooling it, it forms a clear liquid as a straw color liquid which separate out from the clot, and that is known as the serum. And you must have listened children, snake bite treatment, there also we are anti-venin is being produced, injected there, that is produced from the blood of the horse, and that is used as a medicine for curing the person who have been bited by the snake. The genetic engineering has also made it possible to induce some certain human genes also in certain bacteria, and these bacterial cultures that grow rapidly, and this first hormone insulin was also prepared in this manner also. So another serum which we are used genetically is a blood clotting factor 8 for the treatment of hemophilia A, factor 9 for the treatment of hemophilia B. Now next comes vaccine. This is very formula term. These days we are using that no vaccine have been discovered for COVID-19. Now what is vaccine? Vaccine is a preparation basically that consists of a weakened form of the germs or dead germs substances, and when they have been inculcated in our body means already they will be having, and our body will already prepare antibodies. If any invasion happens in our body in the future, our body is already used to of it, it will easily fight out against that infection. And the process of introducing that weakened germs or dead germs substance into body for developing resistance, that process is known as the vaccination. Now for the large number of the disease vaccines available like cholera, typhoid, measles, chickenpox. So when they are injecting into the body, the person gets disease in the mild form and his body gets stimulated to develop antitoxins, and these antitoxins actually provide the immunity against any future attack of the particular disease germs. And so from here this only that this is the reason why we are not able to still discover the vaccine for this COVID now, because the virus is daily changing its forms. Once they are preparing it a vaccine against mild form, again when they are injecting in the person, the virus has changed its form, so they are not able to produce the antitoxins, are not able to fight out with that. So what is the antitoxin? A substance produced in animal body which react with the poison that is produced by invading germs. And two common vaccines that are obtained from growing bacteria, that is in the killed bacteria where we are using, that is the TAP. This is used vaccine used for the typhoid, and the living form they are being used for vaccine of BCG vaccine for the tuberculosis. Next come toxoids. What are toxoids? These are inactivated toxins of particular bacteria which can stimulate the production of respective antibodies such as those for producing immunity against the diphtheria. Means in the normal they are formed in the present inactive form. Whenever they are required, then only they need to be activated. So these toxoids will activate them, especially for the disease like diphtheria and the tetanus. Now, this was the role of bacteria in the medicine field. Now what is the role of in the agriculture? So bacteria are known as the nitrogen fixing bacteria. Special bacteria is there named rhizobium, that is found in the small root nodules of the leguminous plant. Leguminous plant are the beans like gram, beans, etc. So these bacteria, they pick up the free nitrogen from the soil atmosphere and convert into soluble nitrates, and these soluble nitrates are being used because nitrogen is must required for the growth of the plant. So they will be taken by the host plant and by other plants also that are being sown on that particular soil. So next come the nitrifying bacteria. Now see, plants also need the nitrogen for synthesizing some proteins also, but they cannot make use of because they cannot fix the free atmospheric nitrogen. So they are taking it in the form of the nitrates which they absorb from the soil through the roots. Then these nitrates again replenished in the soil by bacteria through the process that is known, they are being again added into soil by the process of nitrification. And for there also some bacteria help. First of all, that bacteria convert the nitrogenous waste, that is excreta of the which is containing urea, uric acid or ammonia of the animals and the dead remains of plants and animals into ammonia. Then that ammonia is being converted into ammonium compounds that are first converted into nitrites by bacteria, like for example nitrosomes are converting, and then finally into nitrates by bacteria known as nitrobacter. So they form a cycle. That cycle is known as the nitrogen cycle. So you have to learn this cycle. This is very important topic. Next come denitrifying bacteria. These are those bacteria which are present in soil which break down the soil nitrates into to release nitrogen gas and that enter into the atmosphere. Now next is the what is the role of bacteria in industry? See, different flavors of the trees. You must have every tea have different flavor that are basically produced by adding certain bacteria. That term is known as tea curing. And leather tanning is color, the black tan color of the leather which is given, that is also brought about by sunlight, but certain bacteria also break down the soft perishable part of the skin or the hides. Now next comes the spoilage of the food by bacteria. You must have listened the term about the food poisoning. See, sometimes you must have seen that some cooked food that are being, whether it can be a food, milk or fruit, where they are being destroyed. Means fermentation happens during the summers, and if we eat that food, they may cause the disease known as the food poisoning. And so that is botulism is also very serious food poison, due to which a special bacteria sometimes are they are found when we are eating tinned or canned food or sealed food. And such suspected food should be completely discarded. So therefore preservation of the food and making it free from disease free is very necessary. So there are different methods how we can do the food preservation that are given here on the next page. So just you can see, you can read it in a detail from you already done in the lower classes also. Like first is the boiling, then is salting, dehydration, that is drying. Radiation means some radioactive radiations are being passed through them. Then pasteurization. Pasteurization is technique. First you are heating it at very high temperature near about 60, and then you are cooling it. That technique is there being used. Then is refrigeration, then cold temperature or strong concentration of certain chemicals can be used. Bacteria disease in plants and animals are given here. So like in the plant, basically two diseases are there. There's the black root of mustard and the cauliflower, and the bacterial blight of the cowpea. In animals it is anthrax, that is a swelling of the body and reduced milk yield. Then is tuberculosis. In humans, so two disease you can learn. In human it is whooping cough, cholera, tuberculosis, diphtheria, typhoid, pneumonia or tetanus. Next are bioweapons. Now you must have listened that this COVID-19 or corona was said that it was just a bioweapon which China has been using for other countries. that they are developing certain germ bombs which can be exploded and may release some disease germs. Like for example, they have given example of anthrax bacteria which may take epidemic shape. Now this is COVID is this is a virus. Some bacteria can also take an epidemic shape and cause a widespread death generation after generation. Now children, next topic which we are going to discuss is the economic importance of fungi. See, like bacteria, fungi also have no chlorophyll and their body is also not differentiated into parts like roots, stem, leaves or flowers. However, if we do comparison with the bacteria, they are highly developed, means they are eukaryotes which have a true nucleus and they are multicellular also. So according to the five kingdom, the fungi are not the plants. The reason being that they have no chlorophyll and their mode of nutrition is also heterotrophic instead of autotrophic. So first we are going to discuss a journal study. So common fungi which are fungi is available, that is the molds which grow on our food also, bread also. That greenish color layer is being formed. Even on your leather, also on the barks of the tree. Mushroom and toadstool, these are the common sites on the rainies you can see. They are very poisonous, but some are edible also. Now first molds, that is the rhizopus, which is a common bread mold that grows not only on the bread but also on a variety of other organic matter also, even your fruit also, animal dung also, leather goods also in warm or humid climate. They are containing a network of thread-like hyphae structures that are known as the hyphae. We call this thread-like structures. An entire mass of these thread-like structure, they are called, that we call as the mycelium. You can see these are the hyphae and they together form a mass that is known as the mycelium. And this penetrating hyphae, they secrete certain enzymes which helps in the digestion of the substratum, and that type of digestion is known as the extracellular. And their mode of reproduction is both sexual as well as asexual. Asexual, that start after just within few days only after the growth of mycelium. Means these hyphae, some will become erect and they will form spongiospores and they will swell up into their tips. As you can see, sporangium will be formed and that will turn dark as the spores inside will get matured. So after that, this sporangium will burst out and which they will be scattered by wind, and whenever they will find a suitable substratum or habitat, they will start growing and form a new mycelium. Most common form of the next is yeast. Now yeast is a generally another form of separate spherical cells. You can see it's from a spherical cell. There are several species of yeast. All the yeast are one-celled fungi. They occur either singly or in the budding chains. Like occurs where they occur, yeast are mainly found freely in the atmosphere. They readily grow in all kind of the sugary solution and in any plant exudations also, that is containing the sugar. Now this is the structure. You have to draw this diagram. It is a ovoid in shape which has distinct cell wall. We can easily notify this, the cell wall is there, prominent cell wall is there, and they have a prominent nucleus also. And there may be one or more vacuoles in the center also, and these glycogen granules are floating here and there in the cytoplasm. So their mode of nutrition, they absorb simple sugar, glucose, but the cane sugar or sucrose has to be also first broken down. A respiration, they respire anaerobically in the absence of air without using oxygen. So alcohol will be formed here. What is the economic importance? Yeast is basically used in the property that is alcoholic fermentation. So this alcohol which will be formed, that will be commercially used in large number of the things. Now first is useful and the harmful fungi. Useful fungi, there are special species of penicillium that are being used. The flavored cheese also. Harmful fungi, that are, they most are harmful. They spoil the food. Many cause damage to the forest trees like penicillium and aspergillus. These are the two common molds that popularly are known as blue and green mold respectively. They basically, you can must have seen in the oranges, this layer like this, on the lemon or other citrus fruits. So they can cause some disease such as ringworm. Now what is the useful role of fungi? As an antibiotic also, they are antibiotic already is this chemical substance which is being produced by living organism that can stop the growth or kill the other microorganisms. So first antibiotic was penicillium, that was produced by Mount. You have already read it about. And then again they have given the criteria also, we have learned both things, what are the other uses also. Next we are going to discuss what is the role of fungi in the industry. Now in industry, mainly this fungi is being used as for preparation of the wine, that is an alcoholic beverages. Wine and other alcoholic beverages like beer are the main product of process. That process is known as the fermentation. Now what is fermentation? This definition could be asked. It is a process in which the microorganism, that can be yeast or bacteria, that break down the carbohydrates into simpler products. It can be either ethanol, if in the plant it is ethanol, if it is animal then it is lactic acids. So this is the biochemical reaction is given here. Grapes are being crushed and fermented into a large vessel. Then yeast cells are added there. They may be naturally present in the grapes or they may be added. Then ethanol will be produced at a concentration of about 12%, and this concentration start killing the yeast cells, and what is left behind, that will be a wine. Next they are given what are the good characteristics of the wine, any two you can learn. Next is baking. So now baking is, in what we do in baking, a mixture of the flour, that is the atta or your maida, and some fat or salt water is being required to make a dough first, and the starch of the flour get converted we are keeping the dough for some time. The way the starch will be converted into sugar, and when the yeast is being added, it ferments the sugar and produce the carbon dioxide, and dough will, you can see it will rise up, it will having up to 3 times of original volume. And when the dough is baked, the gas bubble will expand and give the bread a light spongy texture as you are making your cakes. Next, cheese. Cheese is a valuable food with a high quantities of protein, and people have been eating cheese for centuries. So what are the major steps in manufacture of this cheese? Firstly is curdling of the milk. What we are doing, we are adding the lactic acid bacteria. Curd produced first. Then is curd is processed. We are processing the curd to remove the moisture, and then we are adding some salts in that. Means further we will remove the moisture that will prevent the growth of some undesirable microorganism. And then ripening, the curd is kept at suitable temperature and humidity, and this microorganisms that are added along with the lactic acid bacteria, step 1, they will impart particular flavor to the cheese. So last is topic is mushroom cultivation. The different types of mushrooms of various shapes and size have been cultivated. Some are many are having the cap and stalk structure, but in some varieties stalk is being absent. So here some names are given. Edible one, which are that is agaricus. This is the most common edible mushroom eaten by, in women they can ask. So 3 kinds of mushrooms are there that are being cultivated in India. That is the white button mushroom, that is commonly which we are using also, agaricus bisporus. Another one is paddy straw mushroom, and the third is the oyster mushroom. So these are different shapes we are given here. Now its cultivation includes 5 major steps. So that are the steps here. I will not stay, you can go through these steps in detail. I will just read out the steps. First one is composting, means compost is being prepared here in this. Then is spawning, that means some special type of mycelium are being introduced into the compost and allowed to spread for a couple of the few days. And the third step is casing, means a thin layer of soil is being spread over the compost, and this is very important step that gives the spore to the mushroom. And the next is cropping and harvesting. This is the when the principal stages of mycelium will be formed, tiny pin heads will be formed, button stage which grows bigger attain the marketable size, and the last is the preservation, means mushrooms are highly perishable, means they can be destroyed very soon. So their shell life is increased by variety of process. Either you can do vacuum cleaning, give a gamma radiation exposure, or storing in 50 degrees Celsius, or freezing, drying in the solution of citric acid, ascorbic acid and brine. So this was all about the chapter economic importance. So go through the top chapter and solve your back exercise. Thank you. Have a nice day.